We're putting the spotlight now on the movies. It is Friday after all, so let's understand how the box office collections have panned out in the first quarter of calendar 2024. And for that, my colleague Vinny is joining us. Vinny, it has been quite a spectacular ride. I'm looking at 5 hits coming in from the top of this calendar year in 2024. So it seems like it's setting some kind of trend for the rest of the year, but you never know. Tell us what we've seen so far this year when it comes to the box office collections.
Absolutely, not only Bollywood but Hollywood also. So overall, we are seeing a blockbuster, at least Jan to March in terms of the collection that one has seen. There's bumper in terms of the collection when you look at it, 1,000 crore, and this is with just 5 successful films that we've seen. And let me take you through some of them as well, right? What is doing well, what did well was Fighter, a super hit that came in there, and that is what they made in terms of the collection. Around 250 crores just in India and 350 crores worldwide is what the collection came in for Fighter. Similarly, when you're looking at it for Shaitan, that is Ajay Devgan starrer movie, that also saw a super hit bumper collection of 145 crores in India, 201 crores that we saw over the world and over the globe as well. Teri Baaton Mein, that managed to collect 84 crores from this release rate to, currently that we're seeing 84 crores there, and worldwide 133 crores is what they managed to do. And other than that, Article 370, that was a hit movie that came in, and 81 crores over there with the 108 crores across the globe. Lastly, among the recent movies that have just released, we did a Crew that's already managed to collect 77 crores, and when you look at it, 81 crores is worldwide, but this is just released and it's still in the theatres. So yes, people can catch on these movies over the weekend as well. Hollywood, that's not bad as well, because we had a lot of releases that did well. That was Dune 2, we had Kung Fu Panda, we did have Godzilla, as well as all these movies managing to do well in terms of collections. So Hollywood seeing a blockbuster, bumper Bollywood collections that we've seen this time as well. While some movies that actually missed in terms of the move that we should see is Merry Christmas, Warrior, as well as Crack, which didn't manage to do as well as the other movies, and it was not that great in terms of the performance that we saw from these movies. Lastly, average businesses of the movies, when you see Missing Ladies has seen 16 crores, while Magna Express has also managed to see 23 crores. These are among the new listings that we've seen. So surely something exciting can do with some of the movies are still in the theatre. You can go and catch some of these movies.
Yes, indeed. Some of the smaller movies like Lapata Ladies has got the imagination of the audiences. And as far as what they're looking for in movies, that too is changing. Let's break this down with Karan Taurani. He's Senior Vice President at Elara Securities, and he tracks the entertainment very closely. Great to have you with us this evening. Karan, tell us whether we're talking about the big budget Fighter, we're talking about Teri Baaton Mein Uljha Jiya, or Article 370, Shaitan, even Crew now. All of these have been taking in a certain amount of moolah for the box office. But what sets out this first quarter of FY24 by way of box office success compared to the same quarter in the past, especially after, Jawan and Pathan and, the Shahrukh Khan magic in the cinema halls? There has been a bit of a lull, but now we're seeing a break in the lull.
Hi, Vikram. Good evening. So if you look at the box office performance, typically there's been some respite in this quarter, and that is specifically, to the performance of the small, medium budget films. So if you look at the trend in the pre-COVID times, contribution for Hindi box office in terms of large budget versus medium budget and small budget films was around 50-50. In the post-COVID era, because the audience was going into cinemas only to see large budget films, this contribution turned out to be about 85-90% in favor of large budget films and about 10% towards the small medium budget films, which means that there was a sharp decline in footfalls and numbers on box office for the small medium budget films. So this is one quarter wherein the contribution from small medium budget films has jumped up towards about 30-35%. Two reasons for this. One is, of course, the content has been better for small medium budget films. A lot of promotion offers, BOGO, buy one get one free offers have been pushed, which is kind of propelled consumers into the cinemas. These offers were there earlier as well, but people didn't come in such large numbers because content was not compelling. So the content is showing some sort of a respite. And second, of course, the large budget films have fared as well as one would have thought. So even that's kind of led to this outperformance in the medium budget film. So my guess is that I think this is a very good trend, provided it sustains from here on, going ahead, because the only reason cinemas are lagging in terms of occupancy versus pre-COVID is the performance of small medium budget content. So if you see quarters going ahead wherein you have large budget films performing and also small medium budget films performing, you will see a very strong revival in terms of occupancy.
So you are highlighting the importance of big budget films performing well, and that is back now. But when you consider the kind of split of the numbers that are coming through from the box office and how these movies have done in the domestic and in the global markets, what they've made from ticket sales at theatres as opposed to what they've made selling OTT rights, what are the interesting differences that emerge now?
So if you compare these numbers from pre-COVID to post-COVID standpoint, massive difference. So, in pre-COVID times, broadly look at the numbers, more than 70% was to theatrical collections. And that was domestic and global, both put together. I think in the post-COVID era, the theatrical collection numbers have come down to 60%. And that's primarily because OTT platforms are paying a hefty premium for content right now. And the split between, satellite, digital, music rights, and free revenues put together is somewhere close to about 40 to 42%. And the balance is now theatrical, which is domestic and global. So the numbers have seen a drastic change. I think this trend is here to stay because OTT platforms will continue to pay hefty premiums because they are kind of, looking at subscriber retention, and movie content is very important, to get, a large customer base on any OTT platform. So I think this trend is here to stay. It will continue. Albeit above, I believe that the performance of box office will be slightly volatile this because we are coming off with a large base. So CY23 had got multiple blockbusters, Pathan, Jawan, Gadar, and other films lined up which were there. We saw Animal as well. So we're coming off with a high base. Last year was the first year, CY23, wherein we saw Hindi box office numbers going beyond pre-COVID levels. They were up by 20 odd percent. Now on this base, I think this will see a potential decline of about 15 odd percent. For now, basis the current slate that we have. But we do have exciting films going ahead as well. It all depends in terms of how this content works and how many surprises we get, regional content and on Hindi content side.
I imagine your consumption of movies is pretty high, and it seems like you're all set for the Friday as well, Karan. Tell us from this kind of perspective that you're offering, what are the key indicators of change that you're seeing? Is going to perhaps see an extension of this trend, how well we've done in the first quarter of this calendar year. What movies are you looking forward to, especially in the summer holidays, that you think could extend this trend further?
So I think there are films lined up during Eid next week. There is a Bari Miyan Choti Miyan. There's a film called Maida. In the month of May, we have got Chandu Champion, which is a film by Kartik Aaryan, directed by Kabir Khan. It's like a large franchise film. We've got a film by Varun Dhawan, Baby John, which already has a very strong recall in the regional audience as well. And plus, I think regional content will start to pick up. We've got Pushpa coming in as well, post May, June, and even that will see some kind of respite. So there are multiple large franchise films, and even after that, we have got Stree 2, we have Welcome, we have got Singham, and these franchise films need to do really well for box office momentum to sustain from here on. So there's lots to catch up. It all depends in terms of how content pans out, and of course, the major monitor here is performance of the small medium budget films, the films like Crores, the 370. I think these kind of films should perform more frequently for actually footfalls coming back to pre-COVID levels.
Both of them, the big important pieces are the large budget films. They need to, and they seem to be coming back in a big way. We've already seen that with some of those Shahrukh Khan movies, and now we are seeing an extension with movies like Fighter. But the small budget films also need to keep coming back so the footfalls remain in cinema halls. We'll see how that goes. Karan Taurani, many thanks for joining us on this edition of India Tonight to understand the movie business that much better.